ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। प्रातः स्मरामि हृदि स्फुरदात्मतत्त्वम् सच्चित्सुखं परमहंसगतिं तुरीयम् यत्स्वप्नजागर सुषुप्तमवेति नित्यम् तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमहं न च भूतसङ्घः तपोभिक्षीणपापानां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षूणामपेक्षोऽयम् आत्मबोधो विधीयते बोधोऽन्यन् बोधोऽन्यः साधनेभ्यो हि साक्षान्मोक्षैकसाधनम् पाकस्य वह्निवज्ञानं विना मोक्षो न सिद्ध्यति अविरोधितया कर्मा नाविद्यां विनिवर्तयेत् विद्या विद्यां निहन्त्येव तेजस्तिमिरसङ्घवत् परिच्छिन्न इवाज्ञानात् तन्नाशे सति केवलः स्वयं प्रकाशते ह्यात्मा मेघापायेषुमानिव अज्ञानकलुषं जीवं ज्ञानाभ्यासाद् विनिर्मलं कृत्वा ज्ञानं स्वयं नश्येत् जलं कतकरेणुवत् संसारस्वप्नतुल्यो हि रागद्वेषादिसङ्कुलः स्वकाले सत्यवद्भाति प्रबोधे सत्यसद्भवेत् तावत् सत्यं जगद्भाति शुक्तिकारजतं यथा यावन्न ज्ञायते ब्रह्मा सर्वाधिष्ठानमद्वयम् उपादानेऽखिलाधारे जगन्ति परमेश्वरे सर्गस्थितिलयान् यान्ति बुद्बुदानीव वारिणि सच्चिदात्मन्यनुस्यूते नित्ये विष्णौ प्रकल्पिताः व्यक्तयो विविधाः सर्वा हाटके कटकादिवत् यथा काशो हृषीकेशो नानोपाधिगतो विभुः तद्भेदाद्भिन्नवद्भाति तन्नाशे केवलो भवेत् ॐ तत्सत् Jai Gurudev Belaji, can you just read the word, the meanings of the previous three slash shlokas before we go to the next one? Just the tatparya of that.
Okay, okay. Hari Om. The first stanza, I am composing the Atma bodha, this treatise of the knowledge of the self for those who have purified themselves by austerities and are peaceful in heart and calm, who are free from cravings and are desirous of liberation. Just as the fire is the direct cause for cooking, so without knowledge, no emancipation can be had. Compared with all other forms of discipline, knowledge of the self is the one direct means for liberation. Action cannot destroy ignorance, for it is not in conflict with or opposed to ignorance. I read once again. Action cannot destroy ignorance, for it is not in conflict with or opposed to ignorance. Knowledge does verily destroy ignorance as light destroys deep darkness. The soul appears to be finite because of ignorance. When ignorance is destroyed, the self, which does not admit of any multiplicity, truly reveals itself by itself, like the sun when the clouds pass away. Constant practice of knowledge purifies the self, Jivatman, stained by ignorance, and then disappears itself as the powder of the kataka nut settles down after it has cleansed the muddy water. The world, which is full of attachments, aversions, etc., is like a dream. It appears to be real as long as it continues, but appears to be unreal when one is awake. That is, when true wisdom dawns. So we had done till the 6th stanza. I will just read the last paragraph of the 6th stanza. The dream is quite real to us so long as we are in it. When once we wake up from it, we realize the unreality of the entire experience. Similarly, When once we go deep into the layers of the matter envelopments and experience the all pervading spirit, the pluralistic existence rolls off, and we feel awakened to that supreme self, which alone is thereafter experienced as the real. Therefore, awake from the unreal existence by tearing asunder the ignorance avidya that is covering the real knowledge. And let us realize the blissful nature of our own self. So, knowledge is the only sword. If you want me to repeat, just let me know. तावत् सत्यं जगद्भाति युक्तिकारजतं यथा यावन्न न यावत् न ज्ञायते ब्रह्म सर्वाधिष्ठानमद्वयम्. Tavat as a correlative of Yavat, so long as Satyam, true, Jagat, Jagat, Bhati appears, Shuktika Rajatam, silver in the mother of pearl, Yatha, like, Yavat as a relative of Tavat, as long as, No, not, Nyayate is realized. Brahma, Brahman, Sarvadhishtanam, the substratum for all, Advaya, one without a second. Tavat Satyam Jagat Bhati, Shuktika Rajatam Yatha, Yavat na Jnayate Brahma, Sarvadhishtanam Advaya. The Jagat appears to be true, Satyam, so long as Brahman, the substratum, the basis of all this creation, is not realized. It is like the illusion of silver in the mother of pearl. I repeat, the Jagat appears to be true, Satyam, so long as Brahman, the substratum, the basis of all this creation, is not realized. It is like the illusion of silver in the mother of pearl. Jagat is not to be understood as the gross outer world only, as we usually conceive it to be. It is the total experience of an individual in the three states of existence: the waking, dream, and deep sleep states, experienced through the different types of equipments: physical, mental, and intellectual. I repeat, as there is internet instability. Jagat is not to be understood as the gross outer world only, as we usually conceive it to be. It is the total experience of an individual in the three states of existence: the waking, dream, and deep sleep states, experienced through the different types of equipments: physical, mental, and intellectual. In short, Jagat includes the world of objects cognized for enjoyment as forms, smells, etc., through the sense organs, as feelings and emotions experienced by the mind, and as ideas and ideologies lived by the intellect. The total experiences gained through our gross, subtle, and causal bodies is Jagat. As long as one has not entered into the divine state of God consciousness through the realization of the one absolute truth, which is the substratum for all, Sarvadhishthana, which pervades all manifestation, so long does the Jagat appear to be very true and fully real. As long as we are in the dream state, we cannot disbelieve that the dream we are experiencing is unreal. When once we get up from the dream, we do not again mourn for what we might have lost in the dream or rejoice over what we might have gained therein. Also, just as on waking up, all the variety experienced in the dream state vanishes to become one with the waking mind, so too on our spiritual awakening, all the plurality of this multiple world and all our different experiences will merge into that one supreme essence, the substratum for everything. I read once again, very beautiful paragraph. As long as one has not entered into the divine state of God consciousness through the realization of the one absolute truth, which is the substratum for all, Sarvadhishthana, which pervades all manifestation. So long does the Jagat appear to be very true and fully real. As long as we are in the dream state, we cannot disbelieve that the dream we are experiencing is unreal. When once we get up from the dream, we do not again mourn for what we might have lost in the dream or rejoice over what we might have gained therein. Also, just as on waking up, all the variety experienced in the dream state vanishes to become one with the waking mind, so too on our spiritual awakening, all the plurality of this multiple world and all our different experiences will merge into that one supreme essence, the substratum for everything. When we have realized this supreme truth and have begun to experience the presence of the eternal God principle, the infinite reality, the highest plan of pure consciousness, which runs in and through us and everywhere, we no more mistake the Jagat as real or as existing apart from that, just as we no more mistake the mother of pearl to be a silver piece when we have once recognized its worthless calcium content. In the illusion of a snake on a rope, without the rope, the substratum, the superimposition of the snake is impossible. Likewise, without the self, the supreme, which is immortal, imperceptible, and changeless, and which is referred to here as the substratum, adhishthan. Even the delusion of a Jagat is not possible. I read the last two paragraphs once again. When we have realized this supreme truth and have begun to experience the presence of the eternal God principle, the infinite reality, the highest plan of pure consciousness, which runs in and through us and everywhere, we no more mistake the Jagat as real or as existing apart from that, just as we no more mistake the mother of pearl to be a silver piece when we have once recognized its worthless calcium content. In the illusion of a snake on a rope, without the rope, the substratum, the superimposition of the snake is impossible. Likewise, without the self, the supreme, which is immortal, imperceptible, and changeless, and which is referred to here as the substratum, adhisthana, even the delusion of a Jagat is not possible. So once we realize that The self is the substratum which is self-effulgent and which is manifesting in all the forms around us as Srishti. Then we are having that spiritual awakening.
Hari Om. For realizing, we need that this body mind complex, all sense organs, it is necessary to then only like we can perceive the the changeless, immortal, supreme. So directing all our uh, like at all levels, at the sense organs, mind, intellect, working towards the goal. So basically, it's the body is that instrument, that rope on which is necessary to accomplish that higher goal.
Yeah, very beautiful.
Because the Jagat is not just the world of objects. It is all that we experience in three different states. One with the Stula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, and the Karana Sharira. So at all levels, the waking, dream, and the deep sleep state. So it's not just enough if we look after our sense organs, just to withdraw from there, don't just do pratyahara. But it's also at the deeper level, the dream and the deep sleep. So therefore, the need for that antakarana shuddhi. Right now, it is ajnana kalusham jivam. It is all full of um, dirtied by the ignorance. And raga dveshadi sankara. I think the next verse will be that. So it is dirtied and it is not clear at all. So when we remove our raga dveshas, when we get rid of them, then there is that clarity. It's like cleaning up the mirror. Yeah, so we are working upon all the three levels. Yeah. Yeah. So it is like the stool is that all your sense organs, organ of actions, and all like intellect, mind. So it's basically that whole that our little consciousness which is working towards the higher consciousness. So this body is so important that without this we cannot achieve anything. I was just thinking while reading this how important this body is. Yeah. It is Khalu Dharma Sadhana. It is with this, that is what we learnt in Tattva Bodh. Stula Sharira is Bhoga Sadhana. It is the instrument with which you kind of do all of this. And the Sukshma Sharira is the one that you experience all of them. So you require this, you require the mind, you require the body. That's a matter of wonder, right? How the all pervading substratum manifests itself in these different forms, including the human being, and how it's only the human being that has this capacity and ability to rediscover the true nature. And realize the supreme also. Huh? And realize the supreme, yeah. Yeah. That's a matter of wonderment. You can just keep wondering at that.
Even God needs needs the human
Entertainment.
for 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 his realization. I
Hmm.
was I was thinking this way, like he also needs a substratum. Yeah.
Very beautiful, madam. So here the example of Mother Pearl we have to remember that once we recognize that it is not the real pearl, only the calcium content which is shining because of the sun, and we have misunderstood. So Shobhana Dhyasa for snake as rope as snake.
The the juice in the sugar cane is likened to Brahma. The juice in the world is the same. Without the juice, there is no world, right? I don't know if this is an appropriate example, but the the whole world becomes as dry as the sugar cane when it's the juice is extracted out of it. If you're able to distinguish that, if you're able to see Brahman in and through the world as we experience it, that will elevate our consciousness to a higher state, and we'll be able to look at the whole world, even the waking world, as a dream. Like in the previous para, it was mentioned, the moment you wake up from a dream, you realize that it is only a dream. In that moment, that realization happens, the moment you wake up. So if we can perceive the world of objects as uh, the juice in the world of objects, all that we experience is nothing but that the sap of consciousness that is there in and through the world. Because ultimately, Brahman is a substratum for everything. Without that, the world doesn't exist. Without the rope, the snake doesn't exist. So it is the substratum that is there. So instead of just looking at the world of objects, we'll have to see beyond that and say, what is the substratum for all of this? And then slowly that Sarvatma Bhava happens.
Very beautiful explanation. And as Dr. Savita rightly mentioned, that we require that tool. So we have to take care of the body to achieve that realization also, which we are already. Yeah. Upadane khilādhāre jaganti parameshware sargasthitilayānyanti budbudani vavarini. Upadane, which is the material cause, Akhiladhare, which is the support of everything, Jaganti, the worlds, Parameshwari, in the Supreme Self, Sargasthiti Layan, rising, existing, and dissolving. Yanti, pass away, Budbudani, bubbles, eva, light, Varini, in the waters. Upadane Akhiladhare, Jaganti Parameshware, Sargasthiti Layan Yanti, Budbudani va Varini. Like bubbles in the water, the worlds rise, exist, and dissolve in the Supreme Self, which is the material cause and the prop of everything. I repeat, like bubbles in the water, the worlds rise, exist, and dissolve in the Supreme Self, which is the material cause and the prop of everything. The Hindu thinkers of the past seem to have given a more serious attention to the principle of creation than many of the other religionists. I read once again. The Hindu thinkers of the past seem to have given a more serious attention to the principle of creation than many of the other religionists. Their acute analytical approach to problems of life can, in its thoroughness and completeness, beat even many of the modern scientific methods. Nothing new is ever created by anyone. The change of form, name, nature, and conditions is all that is creation. Reconversion alone is creation. In thus creating a thing, three essential factors are necessary, and they are together in their aggregate called as the cause. I repeat, as there is a breaking of voice. I think there is too much of internet instability notification. Just let me know. Nothing new is ever created by anyone. The change of form, name, nature, and conditions is all that is creation. Reconversion alone is creation. In thus creating a thing, three essential factors are necessary and they are together in their aggregate called as the cause. In any creation, three types of causes must come into play: the material cause, the efficient cause, and the instrumental cause. In the case of a potter making a pot on his will with mud, the potter is the efficient cause. The wheel is the instrumental cause, and the mud is the material cause, upadana karana. In all pot creations in the world, the potter is separate from the mud in the creative process of the finite emerging from the infinite, the material cause and the efficient cause are one and the same. I read once again the three causes. And in any creation, three types of causes must come into play: the material cause, the efficient cause, and the instrumental cause. In the case of a potter making a pot on his will with mud, the potter is the efficient cause, the will is the instrumental cause, and the mud is the material cause, upadana karana. In all pot creations in the world, the potter is separate from the mud in the creative process of the finite, emerging from the infinite, the material cause and the efficient cause are one and the same. Just as bubbles in water are but water rising in water, existing in water, and when they burst, merging back to become water, so too are the plurality cognized by the body, mind, intellect, all a play of names and forms upon the infinite consciousness, the eternal substratum divine. But the Supreme Brahman undergoes no change. It being absolute, it can suffer no modification in itself. How can then the world of multiplicity originate from that Brahman? It can only be an appearance. There is no real manifestation, surely, no factual creation. I read once again. Nothing new is ever created by anyone. The change of form, name, nature, and conditions is all that is creation. Reconversion alone is creation. In thus creating a thing, three essential factors are necessary, and they are together in their aggregate called as the cause. In any creation, three types of causes must come into play: the material cause, the efficient cause, and the instrumental cause. In the case of a potter making a pot on his will with mud, the potter is the efficient cause, the will is the instrumental cause, and the mud is the material cause, upadana karana. In all pot creations in the world, the potter is separate from the mud. In the creative process of the finite, emerging from the infinite, the material cause and the efficient cause are one and the same. Just as bubbles in water are but water rising in water, existing in water, and when they burst, merging back to become water, so too are the plurality cognized by the body, mind, intellect, all a play of names and forms upon the infinite consciousness, the eternal substratum divine. But the Supreme Brahman undergoes no change. It being absolute, it can suffer no modification in itself. How can then the world of multiplicity originate from that Brahman? It can only be an appearance. There is no real manifestation, surely no factual creation.
So Brahman is a material cause?
Yes, the material and the efficient
Maya.
cause is
Maya
God.
is the material cause, which is from Brahman, which is a manifestation of Brahman.
Correct.
So that is why, see, the whole world is not factual. That is why, how much ever we try to delve into how did this body appear, how did the world appear, it doesn't make sense to us because it's not logical. It is only an appearance. And that appearance is only because of avidya. Which is why only with knowledge, the sword of knowledge, can we remove this disillusion of the world that we have. And that example of the Budbudaniva Varini, it is the bubbles arise, they are made of water. They arise in water, rise momentarily, they stay, and then they dissolve back into water. So the whole creative process is nothing but reconversion. It is like recycling the whole thing.
Jai Gurudev Brahmaraji, is the instrumental cause is Maya or the material cause is Maya?
Here, the instrument, the efficient cause, there are three causes, right? Instrumental cause,
Correct.
efficient cause, and the material cause.
So I think material cause and the efficient cause is Brahman, and the
Brahman, yes.
instrumental cause is Maya. Am
Maya.
I right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's what it is. Did I say some? I think I said material cause is Maya, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. The efficient and the material cause is Brahman, and then the instrumental cause is Maya.
So that's
How do you
nothing new
define
with this.
instrumental cause?
Like the example given, the potter, the wheel, and the mud. The wheel there is the instrument cause.
Oh, okay, wheel. I thought the will. Okay.
No, wheel. Wheel,
Okay.
Wheel, wheel.
Huh. So wheel is also Maya, right? So the instrumental cause is Maya. Okay.
Yeah. It is only the reconversion alone. So the whole Jagat is nothing but just the reconversion.
And it's only names and forms.
Mm.
In that asti, bhati, priti, nama, rupa. The first three belong to the changeless Brahman, the features, characteristics. Nama Rupa is the world of objects which keep changing. That Asti, Bhati, Priti remain unchanging. But Nama Rupa is what keeps changing.
What is bhati?
Bhati is shining. It's the knowledge principle. Asti is existence, truth. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, right? So it is Asti, Bhati, and Priti. Priti is that bliss, that Ananda. Satchit Ananda. So these three represents Asti, Bhati, and Priti.
Okay, thanks.
Sat, it exists through the three different states of existence. It is there through in and through the waking, dream, and the deep sleep. It is a substratum for all these three.
So Asti, Bhati, and Priti is the real Swarupa of the Atman, right, Brahmaraji?
Right. And that is what we experience when we, you know, one of our desires gets fulfilled and we're very happy. What is actually happening is that we are getting connected to that inner source of joy momentarily. And then it doesn't stay for long because the mind is caught up with another desire. Once this gets fulfilled, there's another desire coming up. So we're all actually connected with Brahman, just that we don't realize it. That inner joy that we experience, even though it is momentarily, even like in deep sleep, when you experience that, you're actually getting a little sip into that. But because we're still covered by that layer of ignorance, we are not able to see through that. We are not able to be in that state forever.
Yeah. That
And also like
very
also like if the God like God has given his swarupa to the human beings, because there's no like, though there is a difference, but the swarupa which he has given that form to humans also. Only that the realization of the God is to be done by the humans, but not considering itself from different from the humans. It is like how he has made this body so complex, like it's so intricate structure that like we can't imagine also, no, everything is going on involuntarily inside our body, and how this I think it's a just type of a great help which the God has given, so that we can realize and work up upon, so to reach him basically. So the like we are part of him, and that Atma and Brahman, they are the same, but it's only that because of that ignorance we keep on like we are stuck in this Maya world.
But in a way, it is like sorry. In a way, it is like Brahman is having the jnana, right? He's under the veil of ignorance. If Jiva, me, is Brahman, then Brahman is under the influence of Maya and Ajnana. Plus, one more thing I just realized that if the no other species is going to gather the Sanchit karma, it's the only human beings. So we must have taken so many births that we have accumulated the Sanchit karma. If this is the only life we collect the karmas, then isn't it?
Yes.
Brahman is only the Sakshi,
Yeah.
no? So how it can be?
It's that veil of ignorance is upon it, no? So that
No, it has, from it came the
Jiva
Maya.
is
can you
collecting
repeat?
all the karma, sanchit karma.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Miss Sarlaji,
Jiva
please.
is collecting all the karma.
Gurudev
From
has
Brahma
said
came the
once,
Maya. He said, I am that, but that is not me. Means he is independent. Brahman is independent. He has created it. It is in that, whatever is existing, but that is not that thing which is created.
We just have to go back to Tattva Bodh over here. As in, how does the whole Jagat appear? How does the creation happen? Atma Kidrishi. What is the definition of Atma there? Is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. And Atma Satyam Tadanyat
Jagat
Sarvam
Mithya.
Mithyeti. So everything else is Mithya. And what is Jagat? It appears from Brahmashraya Maya. And Maya is what? Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunatmika Maya. So Maya is that appears. That is the manifestation, the power of Atma, which has in it the threefold gunas, the Satyam of Sattva, Rajas and Tamo gunas. And from here come all the 5 elements, Panchamahabhutas. So we can't say Brahman is ignorant and he's covered by ignorance. No, it's his manifestation which gives rise to the jiva, which is an amsha of Brahman, but is covered by ignorance. And we are the jiva where all our attempts, the mumukshu that is there within us is to rediscover our true nature, which is nothing but Brahman, by removing the shackles of ignorance which are binding us. And how can we do that? Only through knowledge. And in order to get to that knowledge, you require these 4 pillars of knowledge, which is Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhi, Shat Sampatti, Mumukshutvam. So it is a journey of rediscovering ourselves. So Brahman, we cannot say Brahman is covered by ignorance. It is the Jiva who is covered. And Jiva is just like the Buddha, just like that bubble that arises from the water, stays for a while. It's like all of us are like those bubbles. And we think this bubble that I think, oh, I am Brahmara. That identification is more with I, me, the name and form. It is not with the identity of the water. So the whole journey of this knowledge of mumukshutvam is to rediscover my true nature, which is nothing but water. I am not an individual entity. I am not.
And then Jagat disappears for him.
And then, of course, it disappears.
Making this body as a scenery, Drishyam, will really help us in this whole process, I think. make this whole body also as a instrument and as a drishya, not the drushta. So drushta is totally different from the body also. Body is also a drishya. That is also a scenery. The seer is something very different from the body. That the moment that separation comes, then as the whole jagat, this body is also a mithya, very temporary. The separation will help us because this body is so complicated and with so many emotion and all trigunatmika. It really keeps us all the time in the it's not that easy, but with the practice, definitely that make this body as a drishya, as a separate like gas, car, and all other instruments. This is the instrument with full honor, uh, respecting it as a divine instrument. But I am separate from that. That will help us to separate us from the Jiva Bhav and getting more established into Atma Bhav. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev, in chapter 17, there was some shloka we went through. It is said, it is meaning I know that I don't remember what is the shloka. It said ki everything is dependent on me, but I am not dependent on. I am in everything, but I am not that. Some shloka was there. So everything which is Maya or name and form, everything that consists the consciousness, but that body or that objects are not totally conscious till they get the glimpse of self, means the highest knowledge. Till that time they are not, what I feel, means I'm not able to explain properly, but the existence of Brahman doesn't depend upon whatever Maya has created, so Brahman cannot be the Maya.
Yeah, it is Maya is Brahmashaya, no? It is not Maya. Maya is Brahmashaya. It is dependent on Brahman. So you cannot say Maya is Brahman. And
Yeah.
we read in the Brahman, like in the it is in this, like the infinite, it cannot change into that finite. So that the changeable jagat, which it is different from that Brahman. And this is just like we read, no Brahman, there is no reason for it. Though there is a we can say we are the form, but still we are not that Brahman. There is always that riddle is always there. You cannot say that changeless will become that changeable. It is not. Infinite cannot change into finite. They are separate. But this is the this is basically that riddle, that you don't know which is the tail and which is the head, like in this form. When the egg came or when the chicken came. So it is just like that.
So we just continue to wonder only. It is so beautiful there. And like Janaka Raja, every time when we come back to the reality that, aha,
In Tattvabodh, I just opened this Maya. It is written that the ignorance of Brahman is responsible for this apparent creation in which Brahman is mistaken as Jagat. This ignorance, which is the cause for the creation of the world, is called Maya. Maya is the power which produces the impossible. And the power of Maya seems to have produced this changeable world from the changeless Brahman. It is a power that cannot be independent of Brahman.
Which page it is?
It is page 43, Tattva Bodh.
Think we'll need a little more clarity on this efficient cause, instrument cause, and material cause. I think in one of the Bhagavad Gita home study, Swamiji had very clearly described it in detail. Need to just revise that one more time. Because whenever the efficient cause and the material cause are the same, then it is it only is an apparent reality. It is not true. It is unlike the potter and the wheel and the mud, where the potter is different from the mud and is different from the wheel. In the case of creation, in the case of Jagat, the material cause and the efficient cause are the same. And whenever these two are the same, whatever the manifestation is, the creation that comes out, is only going to be an apparent thing. It is not going to be true. Like the snake on the rope. And here, avidya is the one also coming in. I'm not sure. Avidya, likened to Maya, is the instrument cause. And yeah, I don't have much. I will need some clarity in that thing as to exactly
See,
what.
potter doesn't get any difference by making the mud into the pot. So, Brahman is like that. So, from Maya, it is creating the jivas and everything.
I think even in Atma Bodh, as we go forward, there will be that clarity on this. We were on Upadane Khiladhare, right? Budbudani
Here,
Vavari.
the snake and rope. Rope, if there is no rope, we cannot imagine the snake also. That
Exactly.
example, can somebody read again? Snake and rope.
Yeah. I will read from here. See, like bubbles in the water, the worlds rise, exist, and dissolve in the Supreme Self, which is the material cause and the prop of everything. The Hindu thinkers of the past seem to have given a more serious attention to the principle of creation than many of the other religionists. Their acute analytical approach to problems of life can, in its thoroughness and completeness, beat even many of the modern scientific methods, which is what we've seen in the Tattva Bodh, how they have analyzed the whole process of creation. Nothing new is ever created by anyone. The change of form, name, nature, and conditions is all that is creation. Reconversion alone is creation. In thus creating a thing, three essential factors are necessary, and they are together in their aggregate called as the cause. In any creation, three types of causes must come into play: the material cause, the efficient cause, and the instrumental cause. In the case of a potter making a pot on his wheel with mud, the potter is the efficient cause, the wheel is the instrumental cause, and the mud is the material cause, upadana karan. In all pot creations in the world, the potter is separate from the mud. In the creative process of the finite emerging from the infinite, the material cause and the efficient cause are one and the same. Just as bubbles in water are but water, rising in water, existing in water, and when they burst, merging back to become water, so too are the plurality cognized by the body, mind, intellect.
all a play of names and forms upon the infinite consciousness, the eternal substratum divine. But the Supreme Brahman undergoes no change, it being absolute. It can suffer no modification in itself. How can then the world of multiplicity originate from that Brahman? It can only be an appearance. There is no real manifestation, surely no factual creation. Just like how that Shuktika Rajatam Yatha, that in that in that oyster, how we look at it from a distance when that light shines, we mistake it for it being silver. How we mistake the rope to be the snake. It is only an appearance. It is only an illusion. The rope does not undergo any modification, right? It doesn't become the snake, but it is because of that ajnana, because of avidya, because of maya, the rope appears as the snake. And in that mother of pearl, that oyster, it appears as though it is silver. Till we realize that it is nothing but calcium. Till we realize that it's nothing but a rope. That ajnana will be there. So therefore, in the creation of the snake on the rope, the instrumental cause there is avidya there. Avidya or maya.
How that creation happened is we read in Tattva Bodh also, no? It is in that only that two causes are giving upadana and nimit, like efficient and material cause. Nimitta karna. Yeah. The instrumental cause wasn't mentioned. So that confusion occurred in this Atma bodha. Yeah.
Correct.
And they gave the example of the spider who builds a web, create a web, and how it create and how it dissolves back, it destroys it. So it is how that Ishvara is so Ishvara must also be the matter from which the world appears to be made. Thus, Ishvara is the efficient as well as the material cause in the creation of the world. Just
so
like
here
the
is
spider
the example. So water budbuda means water must be there for the bubbles, and bubbles again must to the there. So only two.
For the bubbles to form, air is needed here. So the instrument is air.
So here air is Maya then. Wonderful. So everything name and form comes because of the Maya only, no? We find every form different because of the Maya. And we give the name. And when it vanishes, all nothing remains. Name and form drops, and again it becomes unmanifested.
We actually experience this every day when we go to sleep. All the names and forms, they merge, they dissolve. If you're in deep sleep, that is. In deep sleep, there is nothing. None of this exists. It's like you're going back into your nature. But then that veil of ignorance is still there, which is why we wake up and then everything back comes back. It remanifests. Actually, every day, the cycle of wake, dream, and deep sleep that we go through is like a micro manifestation of what happens in the macrocosmos of creation, sustenance and dissolution. It's going on every day. It's just that we've taken it for granted. It's so routine, so we don't pay attention to it. Which is why the Hindu thinkers have actually analyzed, they have given so much of thought to this whole process of creation. Unlike other religionists, here we speak so much about the whole creation and how it is just a manifestation and it is not factual. There's no real manifestation. That is why no matter how much we try and logically try and understand this, intellectually, it goes beyond logic. It is a thing again to just wonder. Because for the logical mind, it doesn't... because how will you explain Maya? That which is not is Maya. How can you say that which is not is Maya? Ya ma sa Maya. In fact, understanding Maya itself is I would say a wonder. It's a big wonder. No one can try and analyze Maya, isn't it? It is only the power of Brahman that is his manifestation. And it is total. Maya is also total, just like how Brahman is total.
I had this doubt because every time when we say, yeah, I'm Brahman, and for Brahman, nothing can touch. He is not that. Then me, the Jiva, must be separate, somewhat separate from the Brahman, right? If I am under the veil of Maya, I am separate, isn't it? This was what I want the clarification over here. If the Brahman is not getting affected by Maya, but I am getting affected by Maya, so I am little different than Brahman or not? How can
See, the
we
seven
otherwise say
colors.
Brahman and me are same?
See,
We are not.
separate. Seven colors come separately, no, from the prism. And each color, if it starts saying that my identity is separate, but we exactly know that all of them have come from the one beam, one white color. And that has converted into seven different colors when it passes through the prism. So expand it to ourselves also. We have come, we are the whole, what your intellect, what your mind, everything is minuscule and very small part of this thing. And we are touching some ant is trying to analyze the whole elephant.
And again, here we are the product of Maya. Maya is ever changing. Brahman
Yes.
is not
See, Yat
changing.
Pinde Tat Brahmande, no, Yat Pinde Tat Brahmande. First of all, understand we are associating with our mind body complex so much. Mind means intellect also, and our memory and ego also. Everything, all four aspects, inner aspects. We are so much identified. That is called the Jiva Bhav. We are so much one with that for thousands of years. That identification or trying to understand everything through that. Exactly, first of all, we should understand what is mind, what is intellect, which is a very minuscule part of our own existence, that is Jiva. And from that small intellect, we are trying to analyze, understand, like the ant is trying to understand the whole elephant. So practically it is impossible, but still with the shastras, with great saints, whatever they have written, we are trying to understand it so that we can uh, transcend that and dissolve into the whole big thing. That dissolution is a very painful thing. That is why we tend to avoid and tend to remain in that shell of mind, intellect, memory, ego, a small this thing. That is jiva. So the moment this gets dropped, automatically you are the ocean. No, that's what I and for that I think this step of seeing the body and its functioning, and then slowly seeing the mind and intellect and its functioning, it will help us to go into that drishta bhav, and then you will intuitively you will start living instead of a small mind and small intellect, and that is what that atma bhav, no? This is all the process, I think so. Brahmaraji can put more light on this. Jai Gurudev.
Swami Dayananda, yeah, thank you, Madhuri ji. Swami Dayananda ji has mentioned, he says that you suffer, that you go through misery is a fact, isn't it? That is what all of us are experiencing, that we feel we are insecure, that we are small, we are. So when we start from there, well, that is true. The whole journey is to get out of that, the limitation that we are the body, mind, intellect complex. So when we begin from there, then this whole thing becomes logical. This whole thing becomes self-explanatory. So Jiva is nothing but a part of Brahman, not even a part of Brahman. It is Brahman which is covered by the veil of ignorance, which is what is letting us identify ourselves with all of this. So that is there. So when you're saying Brahman is covered by uh, Maya, it is not Brahman being covered by Maya. Brahman is not an ignorance. It is as Jiva, who is which is a manifestation. This thing, this body, this thing called I, and then you. There's so many of us, like 9 of us here. So each one of us is a is covered by that ignorance. And once that ignorance is destroyed, once that Maya is destroyed, is understood, then there is no difference between you, me, and everyone. We are all just the same play and display of consciousness. It's like the ocean, and each one of us is a wave. So you can't say the ocean is covered by limitation. The ocean is there. I don't know whether I made sense, but
That is why that layam vraja, dissolution of small mind is essential. Then automatically you switch on to the intuitive power. That is the Atma Bhav, no?
so
Unless
that is
until we are ready to drop ourselves. Layam vraja, continuously Ashtavakra is saying, no? Unless until that happens, we will not be able to experience or that expanse or that infinity. Anyway, we are experiencing it, we are not able to acknowledge it actually.
And like what Nana had said earlier, and what even Swamiji had mentioned, there is no point in trying to figure out what avidya is. That we have avidya is a fact. That is why we are suffering. That is why we have this limitation. What our journey is to find how to get rid of this avidya. And for that we have the sword of knowledge. For that we have all these scriptures, all these prakrana granthas. We have Tatmabodh, Atmabodh, Bhajagovindam. So there, time and again and again, they've been telling us, and that is our experience also, isn't it? No matter of how many desires we fulfill, we are again left with that feeling of discontent. Nothing of the outside world will satisfy us, will give us complete happiness. It is only when we go within. And this going within is what is being outlined by our scriptures. How do we do it? What is the process of scientific inquiry? What is the process of observing yourself, observing nature? So here, if we are looking at when you're saying Jiva is Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, which is true, I am Brahman. But what is that is limiting between, what is the limiting factor between me and Brahman is this layer of avidya. So rather than ask what is avidya and how, going about because avidya, as we know, is beginningless. Rather than asking, how did this happen? Isn't Brahman also covered by avidya? Yes, in a way, Brahman covered by avidya is Jiva. So we have these tools and means uh, of shattering this avidya, so that then our true identity, Aham Brahmasmi, happens. And for that, again, yeah, Guru Vedanta Vakyeshu Vishwasaha Shraddha. If you ask how, why, then this is how it is. I mean, that, and like a few days back, it was very beautifully mentioned. The definition of Shraddha is you believe in what is said, and the result of this belief is that you experience, you see what you believe. No? Shall we move on to the next one, or does anyone want to say anything? सच्चिदात्मन्यनुस्यूते नित्ये विष्णौ प्रकल्पिताः व्यक्तयो विविधा सर्वा हाटके कटकादिवत्. Sachidatmani, whose nature is existence, intelligence. Anasyute, anusyute, which is all pervading. Nitye, eternal. Vishnu, upon Vishnu, one whose stride is the largest. Prakalpitaha, projected by imagination. Vyaktayaha, manifested. Vividhaha, manifold. Sarvaha, all. Hatake, out of gold. Katakadivat, just as bracelets and other ornaments. Sachidatmani anusyute nitye Vishnu prakalpitaha vyaktayaha vividaha sarvaha hatake katakadivat. All the manifested world of things and beings are projected by imagination upon the substratum, which is the eternal, all-pervading Vishnu, whose nature is existence, intelligence. Just as the different ornaments are all made out of the same gold. An ordinary gross mind can never lift itself up to grasp easily the subtle truths of the highest Vedanta. Very frequently, innumerable examples are to be repeated to push the subtle philosophical ideas into the comprehension of an ordinary intellect. When they are quite apt, the students become pleasantly aghast at the revelations, and the truth becomes more and more clear to them. In any creation, there must be, as we have already noted, three fundamental and separate causes. One, the material cause or the raw material. Two, the instrumental cause, the equipment with which the object is created. And three, the efficient cause, the intelligence that creates or works at the material with the instruments. In all creations, the three causes exist separately, and the material cause transforms itself into the created new thing. But in the case of the creation of the world, the objects created are not different from the creator. The material cause, the one supreme Paramatman, itself manifests as different objects, for in the infinitude of its existence, there cannot be a second infinite. The waves in the ocean cannot claim a separate existence apart from the waters of the ocean. Likewise, this outer world and our own world of experiences in the physical, mental, and intellectual spheres rise from, exist in, and merge back into that one supreme awareness which glows in everybody. And like the bubbles that form and burst upon the surface of the water, different experiences in different bosoms rise and fall before that one consciousness. Here, Vishnu is not to be understood as the four-armed divine deity of the Trinity, as the Puranas often describe. No doubt, when we conceive of a shape of the pence to the gold, when a gold ring goes out of shape, or even when the ring is melted, so too, even when the entire universe tumbles down, nothing happens to the eternal reality. It is ever changeless, immutable. I will read this one more time. All the manifested world of things and beings are projected by imagination upon the substratum, which is the eternal, all-pervading Vishnu, whose nature is existence and intelligence. Just as the different ornaments are all made out of the same gold. An ordinary gross mind can never lift itself up to grasp easily the subtle truths of the highest Vedanta. Very frequently, innumerable examples are to be repeated to push the subtle philosophical ideas into the comprehension of an ordinary intellect. When they are quite apt, the students become pleasantly aghast at the revelations, and the truth becomes more and more clear to them. In any creation, there must be, as we have already noted, three fundamental and separate causes. One is the material cause or the raw material. Two, the instrumental cause, the equipment with which the object is created. Three is the efficient cause, the intelligence that creates or works at the material with the instrument. In all creations, the three causes exist separately, and the material cause transforms itself into the created new thing. But in the case of the creation of the world, the objects created are not different from the creator. So unlike in the pot and the potter and the wheel, where the pot is different from the potter, whereas here in the world of with respect to creation of the world, none of the objects are different from the creator. The material cause, the one supreme Paramatman, itself manifests as different objects. For in the infinitude of its existence, there cannot be a second infinite. So when Brahman is infinite and all-pervading, everything else that is created, so-called created, has to be also pervaded by Brahman. So therefore, the material cause and the creation is the same. The material cause and the efficient cause are the same. The creator as well as the material. So the waves in the ocean cannot claim a separate existence apart from the waters of the ocean. Like this outer world, likewise, this outer world and our own world of experiences in the physical, mental, and intellectual spheres rise from, exist in, and merge back into that one supreme awareness which glows in everybody. And like the bubbles that form and burst upon the surface of the water, different experiences in different bosoms rise and fall before that one consciousness. You know, as as I'm reading this and as you are listening to it and understanding, what is it that is enabling all of this to happen? It is that one consciousness, that awareness, isn't it? That is shining through the body, mind, and intellect complex. Because without that, this body is nothing but a bag of the Sthula Sharira is, well, like we call, is that empty rubber, deflated rubber bag. What is it that is making the body alive? What is it that is making the mind think, the intellect discriminate? What is that power that is making all of this function? Here, Vishnu is not to be understood as the four-armed divine deity of the Trinity, as the Puranas often describe. No doubt, when we conceive of a shape, I think there is some typo here, I'm not sure what it is. When we conceive of a shape of the pens to the gold, and that's not understand, I can't understand that. When a gold ring goes out of shape, or even when the ring is melted, so too, even when the entire universe tumbles down, nothing happens to the eternal reality. It is ever changeless, immutable. So what is it that is causing all this world to appear the way it is the power of Maya, which is the instrumental cause, avidya. Right. Avidya is Maya in the individual, jiva. Whereas when you take the samishti, the whole thing, then that becomes Maya. The sum total of all avidyas is Maya. So we'll stop here today, and I think we'll do the manana of this tomorrow. We have 2 minutes and we can play Maya Panchakam. While I play, if anyone wants to share anything, please go ahead. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu.
निरुपम नित्य निरंशकेभ्य खण्डे मयि चिति सर्वविकल्पनादिशून्ये घटयति जगदीश जीवभेदम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया श्रुतिशतनिगमान्तशोधकानपि अहह धनादिनिदर्शनेन सद्यः कलुषयति चतुष्पदाद्यभिन्ना न घटितघटना पडीयसी माया सुखचिदखण्डविबोधमद्वितीयम् वियदनलादिविनिर्मित्ते नियोज्य भ्रमयति भवसागरे नितान्तम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया अपगतगुणवर्णजातिभेदे सुखचितिविप्रविडार्यहङ्कृतिं च स्फुटयति सुतदारकेहमोहम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया विधिहरिहरविभेदमप्यखण्डे वत विरचय्य बुधानपि प्रकामम् भ्रमयति हरिहरविभेदभावा न घटितघटना पडीयसी माया स्वघटितघटना पडीयसी माया
So beautiful, my gosh.